how do you know we're sweet? We steal my heart the moment I laid eyes on it. You always want what you can't have, and why?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today, and I hope y'all are having a good day. Good to see you, Mel. Good to see you, Brayherd. And Brayherd, congratulations, you have won the Crown of Furstendom, which I think is fitting considering we're building this coat of arms just outside of your cell. Sorry, it was just the best body of water. Clutch, thank you for the 5-month resub. Good to see you. Brother Christian, how was it? How was your Easter vigil? ML, I am sorry. You are cleansed. Hey, that is awesome. Blessings, brother. Mel, I'm sorry to hear all that about work. That's ugh. I hope you can find some amicable resolution with them. Something stuck in my eye. There it is. Yes, I have reactivated the candy spin. I was wondering how long it would take for someone to notice. It is time. Hey, Bad Roxy, good to see you. Good to see you, Gale. Good to see you, Sub-Zero. More people. Memoriam. Yes, we'll be finishing up the coat of arms today. For now, I have this to spin. It was kind of nice having 40 days of not eating terrible candy. Oh, good. It's the hoppy one. Big wheel. Yeah, I had it set proportional and then it changed, but that wheel used to be slightly cheaper. Yes. Yes, it did. I haven't had one of these for a while. Still waiting for the possum day. Possum is not on the wheel. I could not bring myself to add that to the wheel. I'm sorry, Britt. I haven't even smelled it. It just sits there terrifying me. Hey, Roxy, thank you for the candy spit. You're feeling it out. Continues to feel strained here. That's unfortunate because it sounded like it started off so well. Did you pass your general license exam? Hey, nice. Tastes like soap, and now what do I get to add to it? Yeah, I don't know if I can bring myself to try it just knowing how the other Auntie McPhee stuff. No! 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 I have to keep the Swinkle Chunks somewhere else. Cinnamon Sugar Peeps. That actually sounds really good. Yeah, no. Lucas, Swinkles Chunks. Are those spicy? They claim to be. They're not really. They're like American spicy. What, you don't like rip-off Suburban Spicy? I like that. You don't like rip-off Donald Duck there? I don't remember if they're supposed to be hard or not. I don't know if this has gone stale or if this is just the way it is. And I hate that my rules are I have to have them at the same time. Right, it's tamarind. It wants to be tamarind flavored. Oh, those. I can safely say. I know I invented the rules, but I'm gonna live by them. I can safely say hop, beer, and Cameron do not mix. Well, I thank you. You too can purchase this shirt at bustedhalo.com/store. Okay, let's get into it. Oh. I was wrong on so many levels. Okay, so we were working on the coat of arms of Pope Francis that you can see there below me. I made a map. This is where we're at. So I did the circle. Never had tamarind IPA. Mango IPA I could see working, but probably more like a sour is what I'd want. But anyway. So what we have to do today, other than adding a lot of blue, is finish adding the points of the star on the Jesuit logo, the IHS. And in the bottom right, the flower. What kind of flower is it? It's spikenard. And then the tassels on the miter. I did do the keys. I did the tips of the keys. I think I've learned a lot from this of like trying to translate this without a guide. And I would have made the star bigger. I won't now because we're already, at this point. I think starting with the words at the bottom, the motto was correct in setting a scale. I could have made the keys a bit thicker, but I'm still pretty pleased with it. So let's get started on the spikenard. I can't taste the beer candy now. So does each pope have a distinct different coat of arms? Yes, every bishop does, actually. Hello, Kit. Thank you for the candy spin. Technically, as a priest, I could have my own coat of arms. Does it change if bishop moves or becomes a cardinal? There are elements that will change, but typically like what's in the actual shield itself. Vanilla milk. Yeah, typically, like the actual shield will remain the same. Francis changed his like a little just in terms of coloration, but that was it. This will be a flavor of all time. But then like what hat there is, so like as you see on Pope Francis's here, it has the mitre and the two keys. Those are papal symbols, so only the Pope has those. Cardinals will have like this big wide red hat with tassels. Archbishops will typically have a green one, as will bishops, and it has slightly fewer tassels. And then you can get into some minutiae of like what a Monsignor has versus what a priest has. But that hat's called the Galero. If this was the stout flavored one, it might be fine, but the milk plus IPA. Oh yeah, there's a lot on clerical heraldry that you can nerd out on. A lot of cool stuff. Okay. Different types of clergy have interesting variety of cool hats. It's true, we do have the best hats. Okay, so one thing I was thinking for the spikenard is because it looks like a cluster of grapes. What I was thinking is kind of making dots, but I was actually thinking of using this gold instead. So kind of making like a clusters like this as the leaves. So prelacy generally means bishop, but there's also what's known as honorary prelates, monsignors. It's basically the church going, yeah, we want to honor you and, you know, kind of give you a prize, if you will, a thank you. But we don't want to make you an actual bishop. You vote for the refined gold for consistency? That's fair. Let's do some comparisons. Because fortunately, that's pretty easy. I will definitely be using... But yeah, there was one Paulus who became a bishop. Or not a bishop, just a Monsignor. And 2 weeks later, he was dead! Need to hardcore lurk? Hey. It's all good, Mel. You take care. I mean, to be fair, this guy was also very sick by the time he accepted the award, if you will. He had refused it several times, and then on his deathbed, he was like, fine, you can give it to me. Being a Monsignor must be dangerous. It is if you're a Paulist. Yeah, I prefer the raw gold here. So do you know what to say to a priest who's been in line for bishopric for years on end but never received the appointment? Father. What do you call a priest who got an A in Christology? Father. What do you call a priest who got a C in Christology? Father. You know, it took me a moment to get the long time no see, and I regret that, because that's a terrible pun, and I love it. See, and I like that this is going to create gaps. He wanted to be a Gregorian monk, but you never got the chance. That's also a classic. I request prayers, please. Work is utterly overwhelming, and I also have interviews to do after work. Oh no. Don't cry. Yeah, no, great. Of course, prayers always for you, Britt, but, you know, in this special time, Lord, I'm sorry, my mouth is full of terrible candy as I do this. But Lord, we ask that you'd be with your daughter Brit this day to grant her peace of mind, remind her always of your consolation, to walk with her in this time of difficultness, to grant her the resolve and the strength to do her work, to help her to see the finish line and to reach it so that she may relax and rejoice, just to be with her, to grant her comfort, to remind her always of the love of you and your people. I ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. But yeah, I like that this is creating some gaps, even though that's not necessarily in the original. Haha! You've come over to the side of the raw gold. Okay, I think that's a good base, and now probably start tapering it inward. So I learned this week, and I feel a bit foolish admitting this, but, well, not foolish admitting it, but just, like, perhaps foolish for not knowing it at the time. So Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, classic song, great parody of Amish Paradise by Weird Al, is itself... Coolio's Gangster Paradise is not the original version itself. It actually samples, and not just like a portion, but basically, it's not even a sample. It itself is in many ways a cover of Pastime Paradise by Stevie Wonder, which is on the same album as Isn't She Lovely? So I'm going to add a couple of these just because I think that'll add a sense of depth. Did I know that Weird Al's first original song was Eat It? I mean... You mean like that was his first cover that he ever made? Oh, it's in the documentary that Weird Al wrote, so you know it's true. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, uh-huh. And it was Michael Jackson who parodied it, I guess. Right? That's how that works? I'm gonna add the outline to the stem as well, I think. And I think I'm actually going to replace these blue bits with the gold. You talking religious questions, or are you in the middle of something? Nope. We are, we're just talking random stuff right now, so if you got a religious question, go for it. Fire away. Gonna narrow the stem just a bit. Also good to... Oh, excuse me. Oh, terrible candy. Good to see a squirrel. Well, it looks like a pine cone, but you know what? It kind of looks like a pine cone or a cluster of grapes in the original, so... Let's see what that did to the map. Oh, yeah, when people say Jesus... When they say that, what it means, I think, is holy, is typically. But that's usually only ever used kind of as a negative exclamation. Herald be thy name. Well, I walked into that one. Okay, again, I could have made that bigger. Which I guess I still could. I could probably add, like, a cluster there and bring it out. Catechism teachings of Pius X still in effect, or have they since been expunged? Ask this because there's a section in there that says Catholics given Protestant Bibles should have them burnt or turned to parish priests. So I want to know if that's the thing still people do. Okay, so yeah, no, great question. Your source is EWTN. Hope they're reliable. I think there's an element to which, you know, an organization like them has educated people, but we're all prone to our faults or our views. I know I'm certainly not perfect in everything I say, but yeah, I would say no, asterisks, for two reasons. One, the Catechism of Pius X was actually only meant originally as a local catechism. It was meant as a catechism for the Diocese of Rome, so it doesn't necessarily have the same. So that is under his role as Bishop of Rome, not as Pope. So it doesn't necessarily have the same authoritative weight as, say, an encyclical that he wrote would have. Two, there would be a parallel, but not exactly. And this is where the asterisks will come in. So, like with canon law, when the 1983 Code of Canon Law came out, it starts with basically saying, hey, previous versions of canon law are abrogated. They're still worth studying and they're still worth looking at for setting precedent, but they're no longer canonically binding. I would say there's something similar to the sense of a catechism, especially the Catechism of the Catholic Church, promulgated in 93 originally, which was actually the first time that there was a catechism for the whole church. So in that sense, we look to that catechism first and foremost. And we can look to past catechisms because it's not like certain teachings have changed. You know, the Trinity is the Trinity. But, you know, just as like we have the Baltimore Catechism here in America, historically, doesn't mean we have to stick with it now that we also have this universal catechism that is, I don't want to say because it's newer, but because it's updated and it's informed by those previous catechisms. And so I think it is worthwhile to study older catechisms for personal reasons, for theological reasons, and there's a lot of goodness in them. But some of the individual pastoral decisions like that will not have the same level of teaching authority held to them now that they would have. You know, so I would say, receiving a Protestant Bible, it's like, well, we can look at it and say, well, it is missing books that we would recognize, but that doesn't mean that it's all bad. Does that make sense? Reminds me of video XC card tells mom God. Name is Howard. Yep. Sounds like I don't need to burn any Bibles. Yeah, I would not. I don't think you really need to. I think you can also look at those Bibles and say, yeah, this maybe isn't going to be my normative Bible by any means. Especially if it's not like a quote-unquote approved translation. I've got Catholic Bibles. I don't need Protestant ones as well. Exactly. Ours already have more in them. Of course, nothing can compare to the Ethiopian Bibles. If you find a printed copy of the Lolcats Bible, you have my permission to burn it. That's fair. Aren't there specific versions? There might be, but that would happen more in like the commentary portions of them than the actual texts, I feel. And I'm no expert, but in what it is out there in the world. Like I actually use an Orthodox study Bible to reference working on my homilies, just to see like what the Byzantine thought on certain passages is. And occasionally there will be some gentle jabs at the Catholic Church. I'm like, well, yeah, it is an Orthodox Bible. No offense, Brayherd. Or so for your mom, who had a couple Protestant Bibles, she was asking if she could throw them away. I vaguely remember hearing some trad person saying burning them, so I looked it up. Technically found this catechism, but it sounds like my mom would rather just throw away the Bibles if she wants to. Yeah, well, I think in that case, then the question is like, what do you do with sacred objects? And by its very nature, Scripture has a certain holiness to it because it's it is the Word of God, and so that might be why they might have recommended burning it. Because that is typically what you do with holy objects. Now, admittedly, it's not like a blessed Bible, but, there's still a sense in which it's like, okay, well, this is Scripture. This is the Word of God. Hey, Neko. Yeah, we're working on a memorial to Pope Francis. So I'm making his coat of arms right there. But doing it in the Creative Garden. Yeah, you can bury as well. Does want to get rid of the Bibles, just burning it or taking it to a priest. Yeah, I mean, that's where taking it to your priest makes a lot of sense, actually, because parishes will often collect sacred items that need to be burned anyway, and like just throughout the year may have like a bonfire, basically. I know it's more technically correct, but I think I'm actually going to do that. Yeah, that makes it look more natural. Your shift ended. Hey, you take care, Clutch. Holy bonfire. Yeah, we used to do that in seminary. We once found actually a back catalog of oils that should have been burned. And so we just got a fire going, and we just would dump the oils in one by one, and every time, you know, it's a lot of fun. You had people frankly leaving a Book of Mormon at the parish bookstore. Yeah, a lot of parishes will also put their oils in the Easter fire. Dispose of Everclear by dumping into the fire. Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. Holy trash. That sounds like something Father David would do. You gotta double check the priest. Hey, that is the best way to do it, is just ask. In the spirit of interfaith dialogue, who do you think is the most particular about how physical form of their holy book is treated? I don't know. I think a lot of traditions, and it depends on like what you define as the holy book in some ways. Because like if it's just like a photocopy of a particular page, one tradition may not see that as very much, but another tradition may see it as very high. So that is one I do not know. Well, now we have lapels. Or Not lapels. Lapelettes? Lap something. But now they have to swoosh out the side. Well, and in the Sikh tradition, isn't there the leader of their faith and the guru of their faith a physical book? Feel they need to be a bit wider at the top between the miter and the shield. Oh, we can go back and fix that. I'm gonna do 2 more, but do it like that. Because then that will help kind of with a sense of flow. Do you know what these are, by the way, chat? They are red. Can't pull over a fast one on you. Looks like a stole. It kind of does. But these... The... I want to say it's called Lapalot, but again, I could be mistaken. But the dangling portion of a miter, the 2 things, they're a tie. Like, it's meant to tie, like, underneath your chin, like a drawstring, so that it would hold the miter down. That's actually where they came from. I'm going to alternate the golds here as well to give a sense of the tassel. I think I'm going to trim that portion down. And maybe do it again. Lapets, thank you. Thank you, Britt. Thank you. Yes. Okay, we'll do that. It honestly could probably come out a bit further. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Gale is redeemed off. Father joke. Trying to come up with one on the spot that is about miters and saws, but it's just not happening. You know, I'd always dreamed when I was younger of working at NASA. And at one point, I had the opportunity to do an internship. And they asked me, you know, like, what do you think is the greatest hurdle? And I said, there's no such thing. The sky's the limit. I lost that job because they were going to space. Can't find the right angle to make that joke. Oy. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff with vestments that honestly just come from very mundane realities. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong, and I know why this isn't looking correct. So I need this to terminate at an angle. Greek word for vestments are always the most mundane things possible. Shoulder thing, knee thing, wrist thing, neck thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the Roman tradition, it's honestly not too crazy different. I mean, chasuble comes from the Latin casula, which just means little house, because it was a form of a raincoat. Maybe that's too thick. What if we did this? Like that. The central text is the book. We're very good at naming things. I don't hate that, except I want this. To go like that. That's fine. Space is bugging me. It's not right. I like how the gold turned out, but... I'm keeping it. I need to stop overthinking this. Hey, Franciscan missionaries. Yeah, we're making the coat of arms here of Pope Francis just in honor and memory of him. And then I've got a basilica that I built in survival mode. And what we're going to do is I have over here is the map. And what we'll do is we'll mount this in the basilica somewhere. As soon as I finish this tassel, all we have to do is just a lot of blue. How was your Holy Week, by the way? My Triduum was really nice. It was a little weird in that it's the first time in a very long time that I didn't go to the vigil. I stuck around for the proclamation of the Exultet, and then went to bed because I had the 8:30 Mass. Or 8 a.m. Mass. Very busy, but a lot of beautiful liturgies. Hey, I hear that. Lots of confessions too. Nice. Yeah, we did. We participated in Reconciliation Monday here in the Archdiocese of New York. And we had probably 6 hours available that day with different priests. And everyone was busy the whole time. Great. It can be exhausting too. Oh yeah. And I mean, I'm blessed that where I am, I can share the load with everyone because I work here at Busted Halo full time, and I celebrate Mass in the church on Sundays. But for the liturgies, for the Triduum, the pastor and the 2 associates had it covered. So we just got to, be present and pray, which is beautiful. And then because of that, I was able to take the 8 a.m. so that they could do the vigil, which was almost 4 hours. We had 31 people brought into the church, 19 of whom were baptized. First year since elementary school, you went to the vigil. Hey! Four hours, and it was beautiful. I was at the full vigil last year, and I mean, we are blessed with our choir here in New York because we just have incredible talent. Like, literally, I can point to the choir and go, and they're on Broadway, and they're on Broadway, and they're on Broadway. Vigil was barely 2 hours, 15 minutes. 5 people. Hey, that's still great. My boss, Father Dave, went down to his sister's in Florida, and apparently their vigil was like an hour 45. They had 0 sacraments. Well, obviously the Eucharist, but you know what I mean. And now we have to do the sunburst. So I don't think I'm gonna do like the full detail of like straight, wavy. I think I'm just gonna keep this pattern going. And I'm just gonna keep dividing it. So roughly around here, I guess. So it'd be based on these two, so. Beautiful, but out. Yeah, that's a good way to describe the Good Friday service. Ours was nice. Our associate, who just got ordained last year, presided, and I thought he just did a very nice job reflecting. And our seminarian helped by chanting or he read the solemn intercessions and would help chant the "Let us stand, let us kneel." Let's do 5. Seminarian friend was saying his hometown parish baptized 3 people at the Vigil Mass, and they are discouraged from picking that day to receive adult converts. Yeah, some dioceses have been moving to that model and that decision. We're not. Our diocese has said we're not allowed to confirm people who are already Catholic that day. How many I did? 2, 3. Yep, okay. Yep, great. Oh, right. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to receive communion or the Eucharist on Good Friday. That would make it just kind of its own added difficulty. Oh, that's one too many. Fortunately, that's an easy fix. Except it's on the wrong side. But also an easy fix. Okay, I know realistically that there are a lot more rays. But I think for the sake of this is Minecraft, I think that's where I'm going to leave it, and we're going to just fill in the blue now. Last week you went shopping for a bottle of wine at church. And a Georgian wine for the peak of the Feast of the Anastasias. Nice. Named Anastasia. Seems fitting. Lurking! Hey, thank you for the lurks. Step Zero, good to see you. No lab work tomorrow. Have the day off. Nice. You can watch as I fail spectacularly at the end game of Siberia too. There is a beauty in that, and also a sadness. It's a very Catholic thing. It's a both and. I hope you're ready for blue. Because that's what we're going to be doing for, like, probably the next half hour. We are blue. Dabba dee, dabba die. Well, I'm free! Free falling! It does kind of have that chord progression. That there's a chance you're using the water as the blue. Ah. That would have been so smart! Ah, that would have been brilliant. Except I think ultimately, like, looking at it above, seeing like the seaweed and the fish. Yeah. Welcome to the internet where you can get upset at a squirrel for being logical. You mean that doesn't happen IRL? Not with the squirrels I've met. The ones in Central Park are kind of fat and lazy. There could be a logic to that. Well, they've outsmarted the tourists. Thin, floppy don't you dare disrespect a New York slice like that. Squirrels, peanuts. Ah, I see what you did there. No, we like squirrels around here. Like, I'll grant you that New York pizza is thin. Like, thin crust, for sure, but it's crispy. It ain't floppy. If you had floppy pizza, I'm sorry, you went to the wrong place when you visited me. Hey, cart boy. Thank you for the lurk. I like my pizza like I like my pie. Thick crust and filled with goop. Ah, so what you want is pizza lasagna. Because that's really what Chicago deep dish basically is. What's wrong with lazuni with bees and mashed potatoes? Okay, what you're describing there is called shepherd's pie. When Gail makes me pan pizza, it's basically focaccia. Nice. But Gail makes really good bread, so like, I'm okay with that. So much blue. Look at all the blue. Oh, dolphins, I'm so sorry. I'm just dooming you to live in darkness now. Making brioche tonight. I wish I could come over for dinner. You want fresh bread too? We all want fresh bread. Unfortunately, Gale lives in Redacted. Redacted is so far. Exactly, that's the problem. So I say I want to come over for dinner, but I can't. It's too far. It is at least n+1, where n is the distance of miles I am willing to drive for fresh bread. $9 p.m.? That sounds like Waffle House o'clock. Why is there a zombie over there? It's the middle of the day. And I've been adamantly resetting time. Waffle House requires money, only if you lose the fight to the fry cook. I'm given to understand that's how Waffle House works. Fry cook versus priest. Fight! Could I fight a fry cook physically? Maybe. Emotionally, I would never recover. Round 1. Fight. I actually prefer games like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, where it's just random things like Rebel. Rebel 1. Fight. The wheel is turning. Thank you for the alert, Kit. Drive safe. I am thinking, and this is not a promise, when I get to 500 followers, I might... Like, I'll do something special, because I think 500 is a nice big round number. I'm toying with the idea of a 24-hour stream. It might just be a 12-hour stream. But one of the genres of games I love, and I almost never get to stream, is fighting games, actually. So part of it, whatever it winds up being, will probably involve playing random fighting games. And just explaining why I'm bad at them. People start singing erotic church songs. Finish him. Oh, that is bad. Oh, that one hurts. I love it. Oh. I got nothing. I'm just... I've been stunned into silence by this pun. All right, Neko, good to see you. You take care. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. And to think, I thought I could do this in a single day yesterday. about food. IDK, if I have anything in your apartment to have for dinner. Use $5 bill in your wallet. They always have the $5 bag. Goodie bag or whatever they call it. It's that or pizza rolls from the freezer. You should be 4 for 4. I was in the ballpark. $5 goodie bag. 4 for 4, you know. You should be proud of that pun, Bray Herd. I think you also should go to confession for that pun. Burb. Okay, we only have 1/4 of the shield left. Let's go. So think how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna make a box around the spikenard. Because then I can divide this up into sections that are all squares, except for the area around the spikenard. Oh, what am I doing? I can delete that. Priest didn't answer, so no call. Bad priest. No, not bad priest. I don't know his situation. For all I know, he's at the hospital visiting someone. Just left for the day without checking his email. I mean, that also sounds like something a priest would do. Just speaking from experience. It can really depend on where you are, but a lot of priests will have very differing schedules than what might be considered normal, just because of what we're expected to do and things. Or it's like, you know, we can't work 16-hour days every single day. And so if there's going to be some major event in the evening that requires our attention, we can't do 8 hours in the office and then go do that. We We have to have time to be human, too. Which can make it very odd just looking at your own schedule some days. Be like, oh, right. I'm taking that morning off. Oh, right. I'm taking that afternoon off. Oh, right. I get that day off. You can't work 16 hours every day. What kind of capitalist cog are you? I'm not. Like, in so many ways. Is religion inherently anti-capitalist? Not necessarily. There are arguments to be made of the merits of capitalism, although there are also plenty of arguments written by popes saying, hey, capitalism has some flaws and leads to treating people without their full dignity. Now, my life might... It's not anti-capitalist, it's just I more just sidestep the capitalist system. Now, other faith traditions might be, I don't know, but... The Catholic Church is kind of in an interesting space when it comes to those sort of things like economic systems, where the church does not profess and support a particular economic or political system, outside of, obviously, like, how the papacy works, but that's its own thing, but, like, generally, it's not like the church is going to say, well, nations of the world need to have X, Y, and Z kind of government. It can vary. Gotta hop out so you can get things approved. Hey, take care, Britt. Hope things get easier. But boy, howdy, is the church ready to denounce things at the same time. You know, it's like the Catholic Church in America will never actively endorse a political candidate. Boy, howdy, are we ready to also say, hey, this person is doing things wrong. So it can get interesting and complicated. Which is why I tend to stay out of... I mean, especially in this space. This is not the space for political discussion, but... When I was living in Canada, I worked so much at your first day off. I had to call my boss because I thought I was fired due to no scheduled work. Oh, no! Is there something wrong? I'm not working. I wasn't scheduled. Yeah, it's called a day off. Get some rest. You would work 70 days in a row? Bruh. In Canada. Wait. Only two people I know through church know precisely where I stand in politics, although others know generally I tend to keep that way for the time being. That's fair. I think that's entirely allowed. I'm trying to figure out a where I stand on politics joke in terms of, like, physically meaning standing. I can't come up with a good one. I only stand on politics when I'm on the steps of town hall. Like that kind of joke. But it's just not coming. I'm trying to say is humor is hard, and sometimes you have to workshop it, and sometimes even then it doesn't work. We are so close! Because after this square, it's just the spikenard. I might add an outline to the star, just so it matches the spikenard. And then that'll help it be just a skosh bigger. Yeah, no. Trying to land next to it. Don't want to destroy that one. Good thing I flew up here. I missed a spot. Look at that, though. That looks pretty legit. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, let's go grab our map. So that we can fill it in. So this is about where it was when we started today, minus the spikenard, because that didn't exist. Okay, I think I should have made the tassels on the sides bigger, but I'm not going to. Also, I think a helpful size comparison is actually going to be the map of the church itself. It fits on 2 squares. This takes 6. It could probably fit on 4 if there wasn't certain spacing, but still, it is massive compared to the church. And I consider the church pretty massive. To have done that in survival would have taken forever. So here's the question. Where do we want to add it? We could add it here on the Confessio leading in. We could add it just to an open space on the sides. If we were to do that, I think it would make more sense to put it maybe near the Blessed Sacrament Chapel. Or the Confessional Chapel. Like it could fit here pretty neatly. I don't think it would really make sense to add it to the... Boy, yo! ATC. I don't think it would make sense to add it here. I think I'm going to add it to the Confessio. There we go. Kerpo next Pope. Ooh. Holy Father, no one can understand your liturgies. You just keep saying Poyo. So, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Again, I think this is a nice way to honor and remember Pope Francis in my own way, in this world. But things I have learned from this when working at this scale, make it bigger than you think it needs to be. Because I thought the star was going to be way too big. And honestly, it's a little small. I see you going through 6,000 thoughts before answering the Kerbo question. Yeah. But like it's recognizable as a papal coat of arms, and B as Pope Francis's coat of arms. I really like how the spikenard turned out. Actually, working with what we have. I might go back at some point in my own time and add more rays to this, but, you know, like the keys are... I like how the keys look, given the constraints, but they are also very small. And, like, these side tassels are very small. I like the tassels tied to the keys. I like how those turned out. And I'm very proud of it, don't get me wrong. You like it? Hey, thank you. I'm very proud of it, and like I think the IHS turned out really well. I think I'm really proud actually of the banner of the motto. Like I think it did a good job working within a typeset that was both legible but also like not too big. You know, and you can clearly read it as Miserando atque elegando, but I also like the banner itself, and I like the shadow effect of the fold I made. Hey, Mithril. Good to see ya. I like how the base of the keys turned out. And I like how the miter turned out. I think the gold could have been a bit thicker, but it's still pretty recognizable. So... I wish I knew how to manipulate maps in Minecraft better, so that it was just this, so I didn't have the land around it, but oh well. In 2,000 years, aliens did it. In 2,000 years, aliens might have actually done it. So with that done, I'm actually going to take... Gonna remove that from the screen. And now we can return to the Opera House. And now I have to return to survival mode. I can't fly and don't have infinite bricks anymore. You know a good source of blue bricks over yonder. I feel like this is a reference and my brain's just not getting it. Okay, so things we need to do. Get more quartz. So I'm gonna need a lot of quartz to finish up the windows. Make more banners. And I still need to design these stairs properly. Because right now they're just kind of placeholder. And more walls. We always need more walls. Although we're... It's quite the fall. We have a good number of... or a good portion of the walls completed, so that's exciting. Okay, that's a cool shadow. Just make a bunch of banners for now. We'll always need more of those. Take some lapis lazuli as blue dye. Red dye. Tulip is mixed gray. Yellow dye, which is nice. Some orange dye. Green. One piece of green dye. Sure, we'll start with some blue bricks. This is my only green dye. I'll need to use it to make something quite green, like that. I'm going to have one banner that's just plain white. I think that's funny. Orange saltire. Am I going to play Oblivion? I mean, I have played Oblivion. New remake with less clunky scaling. There's so much talk about Oblivion lately. Apparently they just released a remake. I don't believe it, and I'll tell you why. Imperceptibly different. That's not how you spell Skyrim. You're not sure if you're allowed for the next decade of your life. It do be like that sometimes. But yeah, I refuse to believe that the Oblivion got a re-release. Are you sure it's not just a mod for Skyrim? You are a very dedicated player once you start. Then yeah, an Elder Scrolls game may not be the best application of your time. We put England in jail. Watch out, I'm going to put Scotland in jail as well. Even though Scotland's actually white with a... or blue with a white saltire across, but, you know. There we go. Bunch of random banners. So they start 4 blocks up. Okay. I like to imagine this one's a reprise of whatever opera this was. They're just like, well, the banner looked good enough last time. We'll stick to it. Ah, dang it. 3 more and we would have been done. But that's good. That's... I mean, it's a lot closer than we were at the start of the day. All right, so we finished up the Papal Coat of Arms, and we technically made progress on the Opera House. Not as much as I would have liked, but oh well. I like how it's coming along. It'd be nice when it has a roof. But I think that's where we're going to call it for the day. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in for an episode of Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow as we finish up Siberia 2. And then this Friday, I will be on Game of Favorites competing. It's over on P. Tony's channel. So come vote for me. It should be a lot of fun. I think the episode theme is going to be really funny. And then on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on my channel, I will be partaking in the Christian Raid Train. I will be doing a game show called the Medium Rotund Quizlet of Things and Stuff. It's a parody of the Big Fat Quiz of Everything. Competitors will be Mel Tigre, Neko Spy, Map Hack, and Riff. So come check us out. It should be a lot of fun. Should be a pretty funny time. Yeah, I think that's it. And then next Monday we'll be returning to Mario RPG. Tuesday we'll be starting Wildmender, and then midweek Minecraft. And I think the next game on Throwback Thursday is, I want to say it's Link's Awakening, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, and why don't we see who's live that we can raid into. Well, since we were talking about Oblivion, Yuha is playing it, so I'm going to send you over to Yuha. Raid call will just be Father Raid as usual. Go give Yuha some love. He's cool dude. He's a fun guy. It looks like he's doing the luck picking minigame right now, and it looks like it's still miserable. So they didn't update that. Anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless.